Welcome to the Spy Collection. This is Anastasios and today's artifact comes from Denmark. It's a satellite phone which was used by some European intelligence agencies in the early 2000s. It was known as the Lattice terminal. Thrane Thrane was a Danish company specializing in radio and satellite communications, which was acquired and eventually merged with a British Cobham SATCOM. This brings some historical value to this artifact, but there is more to it. In March 2004, the French TV channel France 2 published something remarkable. They attached a video crew to some DGSE intelligence officers operating in Africa and made a documentary. It was part of the series Envoyé spécial, which is Special Envoy, and the episode's title was Soldats de l'ombre, which translates to Shadow Soldiers. For those not familiar, DGSE is the equivalent of the CIA for France, the National Foreign Intelligence Agency. At one point in the video, the DGSE officers met with some assets in a remote location in Africa and then went back to their vehicles to communicate with the headquarters with this exact device, a TT-3034 Capsat phone from Thrane, or as it was known back then, a Lattice terminal. But this specific artifact that I have here gets more interesting as it didn't come from the French government, but from the Dutch one. So we know of at least two European governments that were using it, France and the Netherlands. And with that being said, this kit came to the Netherlands in 2000 in this orange Pelican case to allow safe transport everywhere in the world. Inside we have a card from August 2000 that lists the contents of the satellite communication system. Then we have a laminated card with a quick setup guide in 3 languages, English, Dutch and Czech, which is another hint for you of other EU countries that were using it. You can pause the video if you want to read the instructions. Then we have a copy of the BT SIM card that was used, in which we read here something interesting that we also find in other locations in this kit. It is something written in Dutch, which says Eigendom Koninklijke Landmacht. This is Dutch for property of the Royal Netherlands Air Force, and you will find this in other places in the kit, as you can see here. Then we have another SIM card, and this one for emergency use only. And 2 more pieces of paper that I'll look after the overview of the device. If you recall, in the DGSE video, there was a blue item in the device. That was the TT-3686A nickel-cadmium battery, and each kit had 2 of them. And the connectors are over here. This device was operating either with the batteries or using a power adapter, which is in the accessories pouch. So in the pouch we have the normal wall socket adapter. Then we have another one for vehicles using the lighter plug. And we also have a compass, which is used in order to align the antenna of the device when you calibrate it. Before looking to the device, underneath we have the manual. The manual is a little bit older, it's from January 1998, and it includes everything you will need to operate and troubleshoot common issues, including, at the end of it, 2 cards that are used to help you calibrate the device when you are trying to find a satellite link. This also explains how to use the compass that was in the accessories pouch. And now let me put all of that to the side so we can have a look at the device itself. The cable you see here is the antenna, and here is how it is plugged in to the device. The reason why the antenna cable is so long is because the antenna itself, and of course we have a post-it note with passwords, but here you see the cable of the antenna, and instead of having it with the main unit, you can also detach it and place it somewhere further away from the device. Actually, it even has an integrated stand. You just pull this, and this way you can set up the antenna far away from the main unit. Let me put this back together and put it back in. The SIM card is placed on the side, and the handset is kept in place with a magnet. It was called Lattice Terminal because apart from the voice communication, it also had 2 more modes, one for fax and another one for data communication. This is done through the ports that are on the back side of the device. You can better see them here. This is the fax line port, and this is the DCE or the data interface port. It's a serial port technically. Actually, this is what the French DGSE operator was doing in the video from Africa. He had his laptop plugged in via the DCE serial port and was able to use this device as a traditional modem but through a satellite link. This device is fully operational, and you can check out a quick video over here. But instead of doing a demo of the device, I would like to talk a little bit about its history. As you can imagine, being able to communicate from remote locations, or when a country's telecommunications are no longer working or it's dangerous to use them, is important for intelligence operations. The 2 papers that are shipped are these ones over here. The first one is an inventory list from NATO, specifically from S4 MND-SW. This is from an acronym which is Stabilization Force and Multinational Division Southwest. Stabilization Force was a multinational mission from 1996 until 2004 in Bosnia and Herzegovina to help the country after the Bosnian War of 1992-1995. Now the MND-SW, the Multinational Division Southwest, was based in Banja Luka, and it was responsible for the southwest sector in the area of operations. It was led by British forces. The second paper tells us how this device was used for tactical operations by NATO forces. We read that it was for one-way communications only, which shows that even in 2000 intelligence professionals knew that unencrypted satellite communications are susceptible to eavesdropping. Then it says it's a SITREP, or Situation Report, to Banja Luka, meaning to the headquarters of the S4 Multinational Division Southwest, and it must contain the location name, the location grid coordinates, crew and passenger condition, aircraft and or vehicle safe location, requirements for maintenance, security, etc., a contact number, and if no contact number is given, the next intention, and the intentions. Basically, those devices were used to provide tactical intelligence in the form of a quick SITREP in case other communication channels, probably the secure ones, weren't available. However, by no means they should be used for normal communications, like two-way communication, since by design they were unencrypted and thus insecure. So in this episode we started from the French Foreign Intelligence Agency, then moved to the Netherlands and ended up with a NATO multinational operation led by the United Kingdom. Satellite communications even today remain a key component for both secure and insecure communications in intelligence operations. Devices had gotten smaller, more efficient, but the core principles remain the same. If you ever come across one of those seemingly unimportant lattice terminals, you'll know some of its secret history around the world and understand that nothing is as it seems.